We started to get out to it's kind of painful, so I was hoping just because of how this is something like wire or cable, something a bit more solid than this will work for now. So I don't get any certain vertical here. This setting up, the work goes a little bit like camera one's not working, it's not powering it, and that sort of weird connection. Eventually work. I don't know why that you no, it works this way, so I'm trying to. I'm 18 normally, but they want to. They were quite happy for me to do everything for free and not pay me. I need to start doing something. I don't want to pay them, so I'll spoke to Steve and say, yeah, so we'll see how we go. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah. Maybe. You can stand up again. It's a problem with
From the lifestyle tower. A little bit of standing up already. Yeah. Is it right? So that was technically good. All right. Oh, that's not that makes sense. Oh, okay. I'll do it. Yeah, oh, really? Early morning, yeah. Yeah, but they're good opportunities. Yeah. It's on that side. I think you can a lot of time.
Just having grief trying to get a second camera. Oh, it's doing that again. Okay. Mate, can you do me a favour?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so frustrating. All right, so let's let me just, if we can, if we can pause. Pause before. Right, I'll go. Right, I'm just going to go down to this. I've got to click once across, and then I've got to click across, and there'll be the same sort of thing down the bottom.
Yeah.
And there'll be an eyeball,
Right.
like an eye. So I've just got to click across until it comes to the eye. So
Okay.
let me know when that happens.
Yeah.
It's moved.
Going across the bottom.
No, it's going across the top.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I need to get to the far right one. Let me know if it gets to the far right.
You're far right on the arrow.
What's on screen? Is it this?
No, it's just you. Same.
So there should be 4 selections at the top of the line. I need the far right one.
Yep. Keep going. Yep.
Now it should be tennis.
No. It's still you.
Right, so that's the one I need to be on, that one right there.
Yep. So you're on that.
So on that, so I'm going to do that, and then it should come full screen for the
All right.
tennis.
Okay.
And then it's going to do the same thing, but different ones down the bottom.
Right. Okay.
And there'll be an eye.
Okay. No. Go up. It's gone to the left on you. It's the little circle's going across the top. Now you're on the camera. Yeah, keep going. The arrow to the right.
It should be highlighting at the very top of the screen.
It is.
So where's it on there?
It's on the arrow at the very far right. Now you're moving the one below. Yeah.
All right, so the power button on the side, just push it. Keep going. Keep going. Whoa, now on the top, on the right, there's a power button. Just press it once. All right, now we're in action. Now the power button again. Press it. Press it. Again. Again. Once more. Now the record button on the top, just press it. No, the record on the top. Now you'll have to do the power button thing again for me. So just press that once. And again. And again. Again. 2 more times. That's it. Now the record button. Perfect. Thanks, mate. A little to the right. Right down a bit. Whoa. Not too much. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Go number 2 and tell me if there's anything there.
No, still blank. 1's working, 3's working. Yeah.
Leave it on 2. And if something comes up, it's something else.
Okay, it's on 2. No, and still nothing there, mate.
I need to jump over that camera, champ. Sorry, mate.
You're fine. The camera here.
Oh, it's not allowing me to zoom. That's funny because I had these all set up yesterday.
Same camera, still the same.
All exactly the same cameras. I don't know if it's the same cameras at the same spot. But
I want to welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Round 3 of the Rio Men's State League competition being played at Royal Kings Park this Saturday afternoon. We're seeing the number 3 side, Royal Kings Park, come up against the number 4th ranked State League team at the moment in Peppermint Grove Tennis Club. Big day of take you through some of the results for the first 2 rounds. Royal Kings Park in round 1 came up against UWA Tennis Club on the clay courts out there at McGillivray. UWA had a rich history of winning the men's competition way back in 1999, 2000 and 2001. They're starting to rebuild that club, courtesy of Tony Cunningham, one of the West Australian Tennis West board members, has put a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of money into making sure that the clay courts at UWA are back to scratch, and they are. Royal Kings Park came up against UWA in the very first round, and UWA unfortunately went down 6 matches to 0 against Royal Kings Park. In the first rubber of the day, Jake Robertson came up against Ethan Dunn and defeated Ethan Dunn in 2 straight sets. We saw Jaron Stafford, the emergence again, back of the stalwart Jaron Stafford, defeating Sam DeAndre in straight sets, 6-1, 6-4. Then we saw 2-time MVP for the State League, Sam Ashenden from Royal Kings Park, come up against Chai and getting a win in straight sets, 6-3, 7-6 on that occasion. And we saw Galati come up against Jay Patterson and winning that 4th rubber, 6-3, 6-4. And then the doubles went the way of Royal Kings Park, defeating UWA in round 1 of the men's WA State League competition, 6 rubbers to 0. They had a tough time in the second round. They came up against the powerhouse in Cottesloe Tennis Club. Went down to Cottesloe at Cottesloe, 4 rubbers to 2. Although Jakey Robinson is a former player in this year's men's State League, he came up against a really informed player in Scotty Jones. Scott's just come back from university after doing 3 years at Tennessee and was a prodigious winner in the NCAA at college level, and had won the last couple of UTRs here that had been played over the COVID period when there was lockdown. Tennis Australia ran UTR events here in WA, New South Wales, South Australia, and Scotty Jones made the final of all 3, winning 2, losing 1 to John Peers, who we know is around playing the Grand Slams at the US Open and at the French Open. Jakey Robinson, too good for Scotty Jones, 7-5, 6-4 on the grass courts at Cottesloe. Luca Brown defeated Sam Ashenden, 10-7 in the super tiebreak. And of course, the rules this year, best of 3 sets in the men's and women's State League competition. 3rd set being a super tiebreaker, first to 10 points. Luca Brown defeating Sam Ashenden on that occasion. Timmy Wood from Amberjacks Fish and Chips, 45, oldest State League player going around this year. He defeated Galati, 6-1, 6-3. And Kahan defeated Dean Cochran, 7-5, 6-2 in the singles. So Cottesloe led Royal Kings Park in that second round clash at Cottesloe, 3-1 leading into the doubles. And of course, one more doubles, collecting the tie win for the day, leading forward Roberts to 2 at the end of that tie. Peppermint Grove in the first round match came up against Dalkeith. This was the closest tie of round 1. Peppermint Grove came up against Dalkeith in round 1 of the Men's State League. Peppermint Grove winning that tie, 3 rubbers all, and it came down to games, believe it or not. So on this occasion, Peppermint Grove got the chocolates over Dalkeith on this occasion. Timmy Gray, at number 1 spot, defeated Scotty Webster in somewhat of an upset. Scotty Webster, touring former college player and touring hitting partner with the likes of John Peers over the last 12 months, has come into State League in really good form in the best part of the last 2 seasons. Timmy Gray, he's been stuck in Perth, had been studying at University of New South Wales for the last couple of years, came back because of COVID and has been honing his craft at and on the grass courts and the hard courts around Perth at UTR levels and a lot of the AMT tournaments over the last 12 months. So Timmy Gray got a win over Scotty Webster, 10-6 in that super tiebreaker. Young Zach Viala from Dalkeith Tennis Club, one of the best 16-year-olds in the country and honing his craft particularly well and really maturing into a great young player. He defeated Farrell in straight sets, 6-1, 6-2. Domi Bouchard, left-handed superstar from Peppermint Grove, has been back, spent again 4 years at college over in the US, playing some wonderful tennis throughout the NCAAs and really honing his craft under a pretty good tennis program out of the US. He's coming to this State League season in pretty good form, and he defeated Ben Webster, the brother of Scott Webster, 6-1, 6-4. And we saw young Derek Pham, who's one of the great young talents in WA. He defeated Thomas Hahn 12-10 in the super tiebreaker in the very first round, Peppermint Grove versus Dalkeith Tennis Club. And then we saw Scotty Webster and Derek Pham defeated Hahn and Gray in straight sets in the number 1 doubles, and Domi Bouchard and Ashby Farrell defeated Ben Webster and Josiah Tyson in the second doubles there in that very first round, Peppermint Grove versus Dalkeith. The second tie for Peppermint Grove saw them come up against Hensman Park. Hensman had been traditional finalists and winners of the Men's State League competition over the last decade, if not 15 odd years. And on this occasion, Peppermint Grove, a little bit too strong for Hensman Park, the ageing Hensman Park. Tommy Hahn defeated stalwart of WA Men's State League and Zach Ixton. And Zach's been one of the primary contributors to State League over the better part of 8 or 9 years. He's won 4 State League titles, has been a touring pro, got as high as number 850 in the world. But on this occasion, Tom Hahn was a little bit too strong for Zach Ixton, defeated him 10-6 in that super tiebreaker third set. Then we saw Domi Bouchard come up against Ethan Cook. And again, Domi Bouchard, playing the kind of tennis, certainly over the last 2 years, it's made him considered one of the better players in WA. He defeated Ethan Cook 6-1, 6-3. Timmy Gray, he defeated young Matthew Burton, who showed great promise at the start of this State League season. And Matthew Burton is the son of Ashley Burton, who is a wonderful talent for Hensman Park over many, many years, played better part of 15 years at the top level in WA tennis, Ash Burton, and now his young son, Matty Burton, has come on playing some great tennis. But unfortunately, on this occasion, Timmy Gray got the better of young Matt Burton, 10-7 in the super tiebreak. And then we saw in that fourth rubble, Newton defeated Ashby Farrell in straight sets. And then the doubles were split, giving Peppermint Grove a win over Hensman Park 4 rubbers to 2. My name is Brett Patton. This coverage is courtesy of Scotty's Media. Get on to Scotty's Media at Facebook, Scotty's Media on YouTube, and the commentary is brought to you by myself, Big D from Court Talk. You can tune into Court Talk 8 a.m. tomorrow morning on 91.3. We're going to give you all the updates around the Men's State League and Women's State League with the likes of the Astrid Canther, the Women's State League captain for Royal Kings Park, and the Men's Alexander Park State League captain in Jerome O'Connor. Tune in 8 a.m. Long day of play here today. And this bottom court, we're seeing young Jaron Stafford ready to serve. A little bit of breeze coming from right to left as you're looking at the camera. Thank you for tuning in through Scotty's Media. Watching Royal Kings Park compete against Peppermint Grove Tennis Club in round 3 of the WA Men's State League competition. Wonderful Royal Kings Park in the Bottom Bay. Encourage anyone tuning in if they want to come down and see some of the best WA men's tennis players going around. Come down to the Royal Kings Park Tennis Club. Conditions couldn't be any more perfect for tennis this afternoon. We're watching Royal Kings Park, who are currently situated 3rd on the ladder, coming up against Peppermint Grove, 4th on the ladder. Wonderful courts here at Royal Kings Park. Of course, there are other ties going on around the state at the moment. The men's state competition is made up of 7 clubs, all playing at the highest level in the WA State League competition. And the women's competition is made up of 4 teams. So we can't get you some updates throughout the day with the men's and women's state league. Of course, you want to tune into Court Talk on 91.3 Sport FM. On Sunday morning, you can get a full update of complete day's wrap of the men's and women's state league, as well as insight into what's been happening in the world of tennis. Jaron Stafford serving at far end for Kings Park Tennis Club. Comes up against Peppermint Grove's Tom Hahn. Jaron dropped the opening serve for the men's number 4 spot. Just pushing that forehand along on that occasion, Tom Hahn. Prodigious talent, the Hahn boys, come from good stock. Of course, Jaron Stafford. I don't think Jaron's actually won a men's state league title. He's been playing in the competition for the best part of 11 years. Still looking for his very first win at Royal Kings Park. Very good chance this year. Strong team, strong lineup. Jaron Stafford, first time he's played for Royal Kings Park in the men's state league after playing a number of years at Higgins Park. Beautiful serve and volley point on that occasion. Jaron is known for his serve and volley. Big serve, traditionally, with a big forehand. Moves incredibly well around the court, slightly built. Compare that to Thomas Hahn from Peppermint Grove, who really likes to bully the ball from the back of the court. Production brought to you courtesy of Scotty's Media. My name is Brett Patton from Court Talk, keeping up to date with what's happening in the world of State League, men's and women's. Jaron Stafford currently down 2-love, dropping his opening serve to Thomas Hahn from Peppermint Grove. Jaron serving from furthest from the camera. Certainly giving a better account of himself in the second service game of this match than he did in the opening game. Encourage everyone to come down. Royal Kings Park Tennis Club. And the Royal Kings Park rolling, I suggest you wouldn't call it bush around here. Pristine conditions, trees all around. Beautiful conditions for the players. A little overcast, a little bit of breeze out there as you look at the screen, coming from right to left. Tom Hahn overplaying that forehand on that occasion, closest to the camera. Jaron Stafford holding serve after dropping his opening serve in the match. Tom Hahn currently leading 2-1 for Peppermint Grove against Royal Kings Park. Jaron Stafford walking back closer to the camera. Peppermint Grove leading 2-1. Tom Hahn serving from the furthest to the camera from Peppermint Grove Tennis Club. 4th versus 3rd on the men's WA State League ladder. Joe pushing that back in a little long, just having a look at Tom. I've been asked to do an instant replay on that from Sam Ashenden, who's the captain of the Royal Kings Park Men's State League team. Looked clearly long on this occasion. And of course, there are players are calling their own lines. We do have a roving referee, James Williams, been a stalwart of the WA State League competition for the best part of 15 years, has James. And he's overseen today's play between Peppermint Grove and Royal Kings Park Tennis Club. Jaron Stafford a little bit unhappy with the way he started this match, just giving the shoes a bit of a dusting. Tom Hahn serving 30-love, 2-1. On the second court, we've got Darren Slater from Royal Kings Park coming up against Ashby Farrell in a match that will be very entertaining. Ashby Farrell is a colourful character, certainly on and off the court. Prominent real estate broker throughout Perth. Darren Slater, certainly I would suggest one of the strongest athletes in the men's state league. Can bench press 130 kgs, he tells us. And he's quick to get the shirt off whenever he can, certainly at the end of the match. Hopefully we can get our cameras operating on the second court, so our viewers can get a bit of a witness of the Darren Slater versus Ashby Farrell match. Jaron Stafford serving down 3-1. That's the style we'll see from Jaron. A little bit underdone. Certainly hasn't had the volume of matches that he would have over the previous years. He's coming back into State League for the first time for a number of years. His biggest win came at the hands of defeating Andrew Roberts, the WA high-performance coach. Andrew had only lost a handful of matches in the last 8 years at State League level. And Jaron defeated Andrew in straight sets at Higgins Park about 5 years ago. Certainly not carrying that same form into this tie with young Tom Hahn. It'll take him some time to fall into a rhythm. Does like to serve and volley. This looks a little rusty on this occasion. Jaron Stafford closest to the camera, playing for Royal Kings Park Tennis Club, coming up against Thomas Hahn for Peppermint Grove. Yeah, better play. Known for the big sliding serve, Jaron, and the 1-2 combination with that big forehand. See if we can't keep you up to speed with what's happening in all the other ties around Perth at this stage. Many other State League matches, men's and women's, going ahead this Saturday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, wherever you may be. Roll some of the players as they finish their matches. We'll get them up here to have a bit of a chat to them, get a bit of an understanding about how they prepare, how long they've been playing the game, how many clubs they've played for. Big serve down the tee on that occasion, swinging. He's got a real rocking motion, Jaron Stafford. Puts a lot of pressure on the lower part of his back just by the way he arches on serve. Slight frame, not carrying too much weight, in pretty good condition. Call that wide. And Tommy Hahn just asking for reassurance from some of his teammates behind the court. They've given him the nod and he's gone back, changing the scoreboard. Still leads with the break, 3-2. Tom Hahn heading off to college once the COVID crisis and the borders are lifted. We heard yesterday our Premier Mark McGowan, Mr. 91%, have the call that the borders will be lifted. Start to see a little bit more movement. What does that mean for the ATP Cup, I hear you ask? We know that the ATP Cup is taken over from the Hopman Cup. Last year it was played in Sydney, it was played in Brisbane, it was certainly played here in Perth. We saw the likes of Rafael Nadal come across for the very first time to Perth and play in the ATP Cup. There's a lot of ongoing discussions right now between Tennis Australia and the ATP. We know Premier McGowan is still taking a very hardline approach to quarantining. And right now, players trying to get into WA to play in the ATP competition still must adhere to the strict quarantine guidelines set out by the WA Health Commission, which is 14 straight days. Not like the AFL hub over there in Brisbane where you can get out of hub life in the hotels and go down to the beach and train. The hard border restrictions here. And the quarantine is requiring that you stay indoors for 14 days. And that's just, at this stage, not a likely scenario the ATP want to follow through with. So watch this space. Tom Hahn serving closest to the camera from Peppermint Grove, leading 3-2 against Jaron Stafford. The way that men's State League format is played, 4 men per team playing singles, 1 versus 1, all the way down to 4 versus 4. The number 2s and 4 plays first, followed by the number 1s and 3s. We're watching the bottom court. This, of course, is the number 4 for Peppermint Grove in Thomas Hahn and number 4 for Royal Kings Park and Jaron Stafford playing the court next door. And we're still working with Scotty Walsh to get the camera up and running for the match between Ashby Farrell and Darren Slater. Stay tuned. Hope you're enjoying this coverage with Tommy Hahn and Jaron Stafford. Royal Kings Park sitting 3rd on the WA Men's State League ladder. Peppermint Grove coming in at 4th. Looking forward to some battles at the top end the competition. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, brought to you by Scotty's Media. My name is Brett Patton for Court Talk. Tune to Court Talk on 91.3 Sport FM every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Double fold on that occasion by Tommy Hahn. Of course, Scotty Walsh via Scotty's Media set up the inaugural broadcasting via Scotty Media's Facebook page and, of course, through Scotty Media's YouTube page of the WA Men's State League. Looking forward to broadcasting you as many matches as possible. Piloted this program 2 weeks ago where we saw Hensman Park come up against Alexander Park at Alexander Park. The introduction of former world number 42 in Matthew Ebden debuted for Alexander Park in the Men's State League. Looking forward to bringing you as many matches as we can throughout the summer. Beautiful rally bar, just overstretched and a high backhand volley by Tom Hahn. Tom Hahn still leading with the break in this opening set against Jaron Stafford from Kings Park. Plenty of matches being played around. The Division 1 team for Royal Kings Park is playing Sorrento on the court very next door. You can see it to the right of the screen, just catching a glimpse of it. James Williams, the match referee, just out there adjusting the singles straps, making sure they're in place to the right height, keeping the net at the appropriate level. Always does a power of work, James Williams, as we see him trot off the court. That's why they hold up in the play. Seeing Thomas Hahn serving closest to the camera from Peppermint Grove. Big serve out there to the backhand wing of Jaron, overplayed on that occasion. If you're tuning in, give us a like, a bit of a thumbs up, send a message through. Any questions you want to ask, anything you want to know about the WA State League men's and women's competition. This is being played and broadcast live from the Royal Kings Park Tennis Club. Oh, just caught the tape and popped up about 1.5 foot and fell on his own side. Starting to sense Stafford is starting to see the ball a little bit bigger, a little bit hitting the ball certainly a little bit cleaner. Just finding his way, Stafford. Come up against the younger, more inexperienced at State League, Tommy Hahn. Tom Hahn leading 3-2 with a break. Opening rubber of this Peppermint Grove Kings Park tie. Overplayed. Double fault. First double fault we've seen from either Jaron or Tom today. Perfect conditions for tennis. A little bit overcast. Sun's starting to creep through now as the clouds move away. Sun poking through. Big backhand. Tom Hahn just leaned on that. Took the advantage to move forward. Didn't need to. Body weight moving through that backhand. Does take big cuts at the ball using the Yonex bats, rackets. Of course, technology has played a big part in the way the players hit the ball nowadays. Yeah, well played. Expect to see more of that play, chipping and moving forward. That's Jaron's game. He likes to be around the net. Very effective at the net, certainly serving and volleying. Tommy Hahn really stayed down well in that backhand pass. He's leading 4-2, getting Peppermint Grove off to a good start against Royal Kings Park at Royal Kings Park. Round 3 of the WA Men's State League competition. On the neighbouring court, Ashby Farrell for Peppermint Grove comes up against Darren Slater and is currently leading 3 games to nothing, I should say, in the opening set. Hopefully we can give you coverage of that match. Just working on some of the technology. Scotty Walsh down there, sweating like it's the middle of summer, trying to get the technology up and running so we can bring you the broadcast. Start home. Just watch it on your phone, on your PC, on your iPad, any tablet you have. And that's the idea, to give some coverage to the broader sporting public of the WA Men's State League competition. Score update on the bottom court. Ashby Farrell was leading 3-2, dropped his serve against Darren Slater, and now it's back on serve with Ashby leading 3-2 for Peppermint Grove. Crowd slowly building out here at Kings Park. Big off forehand by Tommy Hahn. You can see the athleticism getting around and really just taking hold of that short second serve by Jaron on that occasion.
Hey, do you want me to come on there, mate? Yeah.
Sam.
Well, what?
Sam.
There's a little bit of goings on next court. Ashby Farrell asking Sam Ashton, who's the captain, can you coach from behind the court? Ashby Farrell and Sam got into a little bit of a heated discussion. I wasn't happy with the reaction that Sam gave him. I think you'd call it the bird. Big off forehand return, Tommy Hahn. Again, second serve way too short by Jaron. Needs to get a little bit more arch on his serve. As things start to heat up here at Royal Kings Park. We see Sam Ashton walk in front of the camera. He's going to go sit on the court. He was just involved in a somewhat of a light-hearted exchange with Ashby Farrell as he's stepping onto court to sit courtside with Darren Slater. You can do that in the men's state league competition. The captain, the coach, and all the player manager can sit courtside, a la Davis Cup, Federation Cup, and just give some support to their charger, give them some ideas. We love the characters out here at State League. Ashby Farrell, one of the finer characters in the men's State League. As we see the change of end, Jaron Stafford and Tommy Hahn. Tommy Hahn's leading by a break in this first and opening set. Royal Kings Park come up against Peppermint Grove. Production brought to you by Scotty's Media, Scotty Walsh. My name is Brett Patton, part of the Court Talk team on 91.3 Sport FM, where we keep you up to date with everything that's happening in the world of tennis. As you can see on the left-hand side of your camera there, the match on the top court at Royal Kings Park, Ashby Farrell against Darren Slater. Ashby was leading early with a break, 3-love. Darren Slater's fought back on serve. 2-3. That's Tom Hahn from Peppermint Grove walking to the far end of the court and just changing the score. Currently leading 5-2 against Jaron Stafford from Kings Park. Beautiful cross-court backhand from Tom Hahn. Just the ball a little short by Jaron. Jaron back in the State League for the first time for a couple of years. As made mention at the top of the broadcast, has been away, travelling, playing on the clay courts of the hometown of Roger Federer. Not used to the speed of the grass courts. Certainly that's... He was brought up on the grass, knows how to play the grass. Big serve and volleyer traditionally. He's really starting to struggle under the pressure and weight of shot by Tom Hahn. Nicer rally. Overplayed the backhand. Tom Hahn from Peppermint Grove. Still, he's leading 5-2. 2 breaks of serve in this opening set. Jaron still not finding his groove on the return of serve. I suggest the speed of serve is around about 175, 180 k's an hour from Tom Hahn. Well positioned straight down the tee. First ace for the match this afternoon. Royal Kings Park come up against Peppermint Grove, third v4 at Royal Kings Park. Generally the home team has the advantage. Peppermint Grove off to a good start on both courts. Tommy Hahn, 5-2, serving for the first set. Ashby Farrell coming up against Darren Slater. Ashby Farrell playing for Peppermint Grove. Currently 3 games all on the top court. For those listeners tuning in, this broadcast brought to you by Scotty's Media through Scotty's Media Facebook, Scotty's Media YouTube. Commentary brought to you by the Court Talk team, Darren and Brett Patton. Unfortunately, the Big D's away. Be able to hear him on Court Talk tomorrow morning on 91.3 Sport FM at 8 a.m. We've seen Tom Hahn winning the first set 6-2 against Jaron Stefford. Just walking closer to the camera, looking for his water bottle to be replenished. First set in about 32 minutes. Tom Hahn really got on top of Jaron. Jaron just really couldn't find his rhythm. It's his first Furore back in the State League for a couple of years. Does traditionally love the grass court. Plays very well on grass, Jaron. Serve and volleyer. Big forehand. Good hands around the net. And a very tricky serve, swinging serve. Puts a lot of spin, a lot of side spin on it. If you notice his action, as you will get to see him as he steps up to the line, big arch on the back, a la Stefan Edberg. And that's created a few back problems for him over the years. Plenty of other matches being played here at Royal Kings Park. Kings Park playing not only State League, but also have a Division 1 team playing. Division 1 team playing against Sorrento Tennis Club. Captain for Sorrento is Richie Sampson. And he's coming up against Royal Kings Park's State League squad member, Dean Cochran. And they're having somewhat of a battle in the Division 1. Two of the final players in the men's Division 1 competition, Dean Cochran and Richie Sampson. Again, Stafford off to a pretty error-filled first start to the second set, losing the first set 6-2 against Tom Hahn from Peppermint Grove. Men's State League competition has been around for the better part of 121 years. First commenced back in 1899 with the winning team being the Wacker, believe it or not. You attribute and associate the Wacker with cricket. The Wacker was a tennis club, and they were the very first winners of the WA Men's State League competition. If you're enjoying this coverage, brought to you from Royal Kings Park Tennis Club. Sitting high in the commentary booth here at the grandstand, just behind the centre courts. Jaron Stafford serving closest to the camera from Royal Kings Park. Just to recap the start of the WA State League, round 1, Peppermint Grove were defeated by Dalkeith Tennis Club by 3 games in their opening match. Royal Kings Park defeated UWA Tennis Club 6 rubbers to 0. Peppermint Grove losing their opening round match and Royal Kings Park winning their first round match in the second match of the WA Men's State League competition. We saw Peppermint Grove defeat Hensman Park, perennial finalist Hensman Park, 4 rubbers to 2. And Royal Kings Park lost to Cottesloe 4 rubbers to 2. So both teams come into this third round tie. 1 win, 1 loss. Both sitting 3rd and 4th on the ladder respectively. As you can hear some of the antics on our other courts. Great day here at Royal Kings Park. A little overcast, a little bit of breeze coming from right to left as you're looking at the screen. Some wonderful tennis at State League and Division 1 and the lower divisions for that matter being played here today. We're watching Tom Hahn from Peppermint Grove against Jaron Stafford from Kings Park. Tom Hahn winning the first set 6 games to 2 and breaking Jaron in the very first game of the second set. So he's leading a set, 1 love with a break. Long way back for Jaron. Good court movement by young Tom Hahn. Unfortunately, just slipped at the final hurdle, pushing that forehand along. Just coming back to the camera end of the court, telling himself down. Of course, we see rituals played out. Tennis players are the most ritual-laden athletes, I think, of any sport in the world. They go through the rituals to get themselves right when they're serving, get their rituals right before they return. If you look at Rafa Nadal, he has to have his bowls a certain way. He has to step over certain lines with his right foot, not his left foot. He goes through the famous motion of his serve where he tucks his hair behind his ears, squeezes his nose and pull his undies out. If you talk to any sports psychologist, they say that's exactly what needs to happen to ensure that you're getting yourself prepared and ready. One of the hardest shots, a high backhand volley made famous by the likes of Paddy Rafter throughout the 90s. On that occasion, Tommy Hahn, just too good. Perfectly placed high backhand smash. Not easy to play. Alongside the serve, probably one of the hardest strokes in the repertoire of tennis players to try to get right. Jaron Stafford serving from the far end from Kings Park. Big sliding serve down the tee to Thomas Hahn from Peppermint Grove. See Jake Robinson, I should say, the number 1 player for Kings Park, just walked onto Jaron's court, sitting courtside, hoping to impart some words of wisdom to get his charger back up and playing better tennis than he is right now. We see Tom Hahn just spraying that ball onto court number 2, just disrupting that match somewhat. Darren Slater playing Ashby Farrell in the second quarter of the Men's State League between Peppy Grove and Royal Kings Park. Was down 3 love, finds himself up a break. 4 games to 3. They said no answer today to Tommy Harm's power, Jaron Stafford. He's just standing too far back behind the baseline, not really trying to shorten the court, use the angles. He needs to be moving forward a little bit more. His percentage of first serves is dropping away as the match goes on. Tom Hahn certainly jumping all over the short balls that Jaron is throwing in. That's better play. Got away with one there. I thought his serve was a little bit too short. Tommy Hahn just bunted it back into court, mid-court, didn't do too much with it. As we said, Robertson sitting courtside. Better second serve. A little bit of conjecture on that first serve. Jaron served it, thought the ball felt long. Thomas played the ball, didn't play it. Jaron questioned Thomas whether the serve was in or out. He agreed, he said it was long. So we got a second serve. So they change ends. Tommy Hahn leading 2-1 after winning the first set 6-2 for Peppermint Grove. This production brought to you by Scotty's Media, Scotty Walsh. Get onto Facebook, Scotty Walsh's Media, Scotty's Media, and have a bit of a look at what we're broadcasting today. Of course, it's on Scotty's Media through YouTube. My name is Brett Patton, doing the commentary on behalf of Court Talk and Scotty's Media. Court Talk on 91.3 Sport FM, 8 a.m. every Sunday morning, giving you the wrap, the update, the lowdown, the 411 of anything tennis related throughout the world. I certainly like to give you updates around what the results were from the WA State League men's and women's competition. Some great characters out there. And we're here to bring some exposure to the men's and women's competition. If we look at some of the great women players that have come out of WA in recent times, Madison Inglis and Astrid Sharma have come back from playing both the US and the French Opens. Johnny Peers resides in Perth now. We'll claim him as one of our own. Grand Slam doubles champion, Australian Open, Johnny Peers. He's had a pretty good run of recent times with his new doubles partner, Michael Venus from New Zealand. Tom Hahn serving at the far end of the camera. Set and 2-1 with a break, leading for Peppermint Grove against Kings Park. Overplaying that forehand, the very opening point of this fourth game of the second set.
Why didn't you tell me that, Dom?
Beautifully played point by Thomas Hahn. We've seen the ball kick up a lot of chalk. Plenty of chalk on the grass court lines. Pretty easy to tell whether the balls are in or out, certainly when the ball's landing flush on a grass court. A lot of chalk does jump up. Mind you, some players think that on the line is out. Tongue in cheek, of course. Thomas Hahn leans on a big backhand cross court against Jaron Stafford. Jaron getting a little bit frustrated out here with his performance. Down a set and a break against his younger opponent in Tom Hahn. Comes from pretty good family stock, does Tom Hahn. His father, Mark, was former Claremont captain back in the 90s. Beautiful attacking tennis by Tom Hahn. Jaron staying back behind the baseline, which is not his normal game. He's starting to find his feet. He's been away from state league for the last couple of years. Of course, stepping up against quality young players who've been playing day in, day out, as young Tom Hahn has been. It's proving telling. First serve percentage is dropping off for Jaron. If you get your second serves like that, why need a first serve? That caught a little bit of a funny hop. He does play with a lot of spin, Jaron, but on that occasion, I think he caught a bit of a pothole at the far end of the court. That's what grass serves up to you. It's uneven bounces from time to time, albeit Kings Park are known for their pristine grass. Had a long history of playing WO Opens here. The likes of Yannick Noah, Stefan Edberg, two of the famous players that have come down to Perth and played at the WO Open back in the 80s. A long, rich history of playing a great lead-up event leading up to the Australian Open. When, of course, the Australian Open was played at Kooyong on grass. Of course, that's all changed now. We see Flinders Park, or Melbourne Park, as it's called now, played on the hard courts. So all the lead-up tournaments are all played on hard. Big serve, the off serve out to the backhand wing of Thomas Hahn. Jaron's got a fair bit of work in front of him. He's down a set, losing the opening set 6-2, and he's down a break in the second set. He's called on his number one player in Jake Robinson to come and sit courtside, try to give him some motivation, maybe some tips. Overplayed. Just caught a little bit slow getting up to that cross-court forehand from Thomas Hahn. Just overplaying the forehand down the line shot, Jaron. Pretty cool, calm and collected generally. Doesn't let off too much emotion. Keeps it all internally. Yeah, beautiful deep shot. Seeing Darren Slater. You can hear that in the mics. Ashby Farrell just querying a service call. Darren Slater from Kings Park thought he saw chalk, and Ashby just assuring him it was down the line. Beautiful touch. That's the play that Jaron's got to start bringing to Thomas if he's going to get back into this tie. He's not going to defeat Thomas from the back of the court. Thomas is just hitting with too much power and consistency. He needs to take it to him. He's got a plan B, which is shortening the court, taking the net away from his other opponent. The wind plays havoc with some of my notes up here in the broadcasting outdoors here at Royal Kings Park, at the back of the grandstand. Beautiful amenities. Of course, heritage listed, Royal Kings Park Tennis Club. Used to be the home of Tennis West. Now Tennis West is out at the State Tennis Centre. That's where the administration is. Headed up by Michael Roberts as the CEO. And of course, tennis in Australia was famously known for its grass court prowess, dominating world tennis throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, the likes of Rod Laver and John Newcombe and Tony Roach, just to name a few. Ashley Cooper, Lou Hode, Kenny Rosewell. Great history, all brought up on the grass courts. We're seeing tennis really dominated by the Europeans. There's been lots to say about putting in some clay courts. Clay obviously is a lot slower surface than grass. It's a gritty surface. When the ball hits the clay, it fills up with the dirt and the ball comes through the court and through the air a lot slower. That's why matches are played, particularly you see clay court swing matches at the French Open. You can go for as long as 4 or 5 hours. Grass court's a very simple game in the sense that the shots production is really around slicing, getting through the court, trying to move forward, shorten the points. Grass allows you to do that because you get funny hops. If you serve and volley and hit a nice punchy volley, the ball will skid away on the grass courts. Certainly not the case on clay. My name is Brett Patton. This broadcast is brought to you by Scotty's Media. Scotty Welch doing a power of work to broadcast the men's and women's state league competition to as many people as we can via the Scotty Media Facebook and YouTube website. Generally have 2 courts running. As you can see, there's courts either side of this broadcast. This is the bottom court. We're displaying the number 4 pairing of Jaron Stafford from Kings Park against Tommy Hahn. Tommy Hahn's leading by a set and a break. The match has been on court 55 minutes. Scotty Walsh is trying to ensure that the second quarter is getting some coverage. That's a match we'd certainly like to be able to bring to you. Darren Slater coming up against Ashby Farrell. A little bit of fire, a little bit of colour, a little bit of tension on that bottom court. That match, Darren Slater leading 5 games to 4 in the opening set. Jaron Stafford just very uneasy with that